Hi everyone, welcome to Digital Virtualocity 2021. I'm just delighted to be here. My name is Lindsay McEwen. I'm the GM and Senior Vice President of EMEA for Telium, and with me is a great friend, a wonderful customer, Bjorn Smulders. Bjorn, tell us who you are and where you're from.
Hi Lindsay, yes, my name is Bjorn. I'm the digital manager for Carglass Netherlands, and Carglass is part of Belron, which is the world's largest company in replacing and repairing car windshields. So we work in 34 countries all over the world. I'm responsible for the Dutch department, but working closely with my international colleagues.
Bjorn, Carglass. I mean, I definitely don't spend the night with an iPad in front of me watching TV, online browsing for a new windscreen for my car. So it's a really interesting organization that is always required in a moment of emergency. Now, today we're really going to talk about your organization and how you're at the leading edge of increasing customer experience by using bots, by using voice bots, and really how the relationship between Telium and Carglass and Belron, more importantly, in the Dutch market, is really helping you do some very exciting, very bleeding edge output in your organization. So over to you, Bjorn. Talk to me a little bit about how do you use a voice bot to give a better customer experience, and what does that journey look like?
It's a good question. I think it's good to understand that traditionally in our business it's very voice orientated. So when I got at the company in 2016, I think 70–80% of all appointments was made in the call center via voice. 20–30% was made via the website. So we're traditionally very voice orientated. You know, there's customers with problems. They want to taking care of it real time. So first we started improving online and our website, and we noticed there's a lot of customers that call to make an appointment, but also a lot of customers that call us for service calls. You know, they have some questions after the appointment about changing their appointment, or maybe canceling it, or can be a lot of reasons. So our journey started a few years ago, where we made it possible for customers to change their appointment during our using our online portal, so they could do it themselves. And we started with the implementation in our IVR. So the IVR is the menu you got when you call us. It says press 1 for this problem, press 2 if you want to change your appointment. So we noticed that lots of customers, they listen to the IVR, but there were not so many that really pressed a button to receive a link to a portal to do it themselves. So our main insight was that lots of customers they want to self-service do this, but they don't. You know, they just want to speak to somebody. They don't really like to do it in a portal. So with this insight, we started working last year, also because of COVID. You know, it was a good opportunity for us to execute the plans we already had based on the insights we already had. So we started building a voice bot that could handle those service calls, and we started, I think, last November. Yeah, that's where our journey started. We built a voice bot that is able to self-service, change or cancel a customer's appointment, and yeah, it's very successful up till now.
And that's a couple of questions for you. You know, you talked about the competition between your online platform and your IVR platform. What sort of percentage of your customers were using your online platform before you really started focusing on that customer experience piece?
Yeah, a few years ago it was like 20-80. Let's say so.
Yeah.
20% went online, 80% using the voice, calling our call center. During the years, we improved our online journey. We did lots of, especially automation. So we have a to make a booking for a windshield replacement. It requires some automations. So, for instance, we need to know how you are insured, what you need to pay. We need to detect the right windshield for your car, and based on that windshield, we can also determine what you have to pay. So that's very important. And a few years ago, we did this all by asking customers lots of questions in the online booking funnel. You know, how are you insured? What's your deductible? But there's lots of questions customers or they don't care about. You know, it's not like fun shopping, or they don't know. So we automated a lot of those questions. So and because of those automations, we improved our customer experience. So the customer doesn't have to answer as many questions anymore, because we use lots of databases to do it automatically. And because of this, now we see our online share is at 60 to 70%. So it's a dramatic shift there. And it means that like 30% is still calling the call center. And there's something in between. So we notice there's also customers that start online, they need some help with their booking, and then they start calling. So that's where data comes in. You know, think about smart use of data for the next channel, so customers don't have to give answer to the same questions again. And so that's where we started. So a few years ago.
You know, it's really interesting. You know, you talk about a very expensive channel, the call center. You know, there's people, there's desks, there's buildings, there's telephone lines, and really pushing a majority of that interaction into the online environment by using that joined up approach to, I mean, I just, nothing annoys me more in any CX experience when they ask me the same question again and again and again. Can you tell me your name and date of birth? Well, I just gave it online, and then I gave it to the call center agent, and now I'm giving it to the customer services agent. You know, have you seen a real financial impact to moving volume from the call center to online?
Yeah, we see especially over the last year, because we made lots of progress in the past year. We see enormous impact especially in the reduction of call center agents. So I think it's about up till a 50% reduction, which is quite a lot.
Wow! So you actually halved the size of your call center by pushing business online, by using that kind of joined up Tealium approach to data.
Yeah, exactly. But what we also learned is if we scale down on the call center, we need to scale up on the digital capability, because we want to improve that. So it's not like we, from a financial perspective, it's like 50%, because we reinvested those reductions into the digital channel to improve it even more there. So. On average on the call center, it's a 40 to 50% reduction, which is quite a big achievement, I would say.
That's just a huge saving, huge cost, you know, in your business, and what a great saving, whilst also improving the quality of the customer experience that you're offering people. And I kind of want to dig in. I kind of want to dig into your Voicebot. You know, bots are really interesting for me. It's a growing part of the business, and I believe yours is called Lisa. Talk to me about how the idea to build Lisa came along. Talk to me about how you use Lisa inside your organization, and talk to me about some of the work you did with Telium around predicting who, where, and what would fall out from the relationship with the IVR world.
Yeah, excellent question. So, like I mentioned, we started with the IVR insights and making Lisa. That's the name of our Voicebot. To really help you self-service some frequently asked questions. But then when we started, we started working with the IVR. So press 3 if you want to change your appointment. Then we forwarded the call to the Voicebot, and then we noticed that lots of customers, they just press anything in the IVR. You know, they just press 1.
Just want to speak to an agent.
Yeah, exactly. So we missed a lot of calls that didn't get into that did not reach Lisa. So that was our insight to maybe we need to change the IVR with a hostess function of the Voicebot. So that's what we built. We built right now. If you call Carglass, you get to speak with Lisa directly, and she will just ask you, "How can I help you?" Instead of the IVR menu, press 1 for this and 2 for that. And this was an enormous step for us because it gives us tremendous insight in why customers are actually calling. So we don't depend on the call reason logging agents use. We can actually look at the data. And because of the introduction of Lisa, all call data is now become digital. We already made our all our online data was already available through Telium. So we built dashboards on that foundation to see where customers were leaving. But now because all of our incoming calls are also made digital and in fact event-based, we're right now in the process of combining those two. So it's really an opportunity to combine the two worlds of online and call into a universal profile to see insights, to see how customers behave. Maybe they start online and they start calling. What are they calling about? And the next step is to start using that data to start predicting. That's Lisa, I think.
I think she's just told me.
Lisa is also capable of doing outbound calls. So the next step is to start predicting, to start predicting what customers have a higher likelihood to make a call. What customers in our business have a higher likelihood that they will not show up at their booking, at their job. And then using that data to really personalize the online experience and Lisa even more to make it even a better customer experience using what we already know. So it's really exciting times.
I think that I don't want to be cheesy and talk about a drive to automation, bearing in mind you are Carglass and Belron, but using Telium and Predict to really analyze where customer experience dropout takes place. I mean, that's pretty bleeding edge, Bjorn, and really kind of connecting both that online, that bot-based relationship with Lisa to really put the customer at the epicenter of your business is a phenomenal achievement, and one that I'm sure plenty of people listening to this session right now will be incredibly envious of. Now, can you talk to me about some of the results that you've seen in your business from this drive to automation, from this combination of offline, online, and more importantly from the bots, and more importantly, can you talk to me about how Predict has helped you change your abandon rates and has in essence made you a better experience?
Yeah, there's so much to talk about with all those insights we gain right now. It's improvements are also in the smaller steps. So from a volume perspective, we can now Lisa can now help change your booking self-service in 60 to 70% of all cases, which is a lot. It saves lots of calls. Which is also capable, if he is not successful, to pass all the information that's already in Liza, and that's already available in Liza, towards to the call center agent. So then the call center agent is better capable to pick up where Liza left off. So it creates better experiences. And we're also fine-tuning the small stuff. So one of the things that we weren't aware of is that lots of customers, they call us like 15 minutes before they have an appointment, just to tell us that they're a little bit later, they have a small delay, and they just call us about that. So to say, I'm 10 minutes later, I'm 5 minutes later. And even those calls we can personalize right now. So if a customer calls saying I'm 5 minutes later, then Liza sends an automated signal directly to the mechanic. So he knows, okay, this customer will be a little bit later. If the customer says I'm 10 minutes later, then Liza tries to change the appointment directly, because from a process point of view, if a customer is more than 10 minutes later, it's ineffective in our processes. So there's all kinds of intelligence we can build in right now, and we can we can work on. So it's I think only the inside perspective, the gains we get from an inside point of view is so helpful. It really builds a true view of how customers are actually behaving, and because we have those insights, we can start improving the journey. So one of the things we also use Predict for is, and one of the things we can predict which customers are starting to call, but then we can also use digital data to learn why those customers are calling and why we couldn't help them online in the online portal. So it helps us to improve the online portal. So it's not just about making an efficient process. It also makes it's also like self-learning and to improve the process, so less customers have to call, because the booking process online is getting better and better. So it's really I would say a blended story we're achieving. So it's not just about online and call anymore. It's really a blended approach.
Wow, somebody putting the customer at the epicenter of their business. It's something we talk about a lot in business, that customer first, and it's great to see an organization so thoroughly embracing that. You talked earlier about people coming into the traditional IVR environment that you had, and just pressing any button to get through. But I also understand that you had people who were abandoning their relationship with that customer journey because of the IVR. So huge IVR abandonment rates. Has Liza helped with that IVR abandonment rate? Has speaking to a bot dropped that 20% to a better number?
Yeah, that's an excellent question, because maybe there are other people listening right now that have also experience with IVRs. I think there are lots of companies have those same issues, and on average, the abandon rate with an IVR is somewhere between 10 and 20%. So that was our starting point. And when we first started working with Liza, we were a little bit scared. Will customers even talk to a bot? What will happen? How will their experience be? But what we see right now is that the abandon rate in Liza is like 3 to 5%. So it's a dramatic reduction of customers hanging up after they speak with Liza. So it's a big improvement for the customer, and it's a big improvement for us business-wise, because we get more opportunities, that more customers that want to make an appointment, and they don't abandon before reaching that stage. So it's again an example of two positive sides of the same medal: better customer experience, and because of that, better business results.
And you know, I know your partnership with Telium is almost as old and grey as our beards are, you know, you've always had this amazing culture of, there are so few interactions with your business with the customer that you just have to make the best out of every single experience when a customer comes into the Carglass brand. And you know, this experimentation around bots is just the next level of really building that joined up, that drive to automation that you talked about earlier, into a way that almost makes it seamless. And what's next for you and the organization? What's the exciting, the next exciting initiative that Carglass, Telium, and you and your team are embarking upon?
Yeah, that's the question. Where does this journey stop? I think one very positive effect we see is that, no, it's not about trying to reduce the call center to 0%. You know, that empathy part that will always be important, and it's also important for us to keep on learning where we need to improve the experience. So all the customers with complicated questions, of course, you want to have them have them served by an agent, and of course we want to build that empathy. As Carglass and Belron, we're very customer focused. NPS is very important for us, so everything we do is NPS orientated. What I'm really excited about is not just about predicting and predicting if a customer will call, if a customer will show up at the branch, but to really move into predicting the next best action for that customer. So we have lots of different customers, and every customer needs something else, you know. So and that can be another channel. So maybe one customer would like to receive an email, or would like to receive a WhatsApp or anything, so that, or likes to call, or so it's about predicting the best channel for that customer. But then there's also the prediction of the best offer for that customer. So what can you offer that customer as maybe an extra, or a small discount, or that can be whatever. And if we can do this and make that available through all channels, so not just for the digital channels, but also to help the call center agents with information about what that customer will need, how they can best help that customer, I think, then I think that's the end game. That's the end result, and we are really pushing hard to reach that. It's not easy, as you can imagine, but everything starts with a vision and a drive, and it's really nice to see that in the beginning, where there was also some skepticism, around digital and voice. Everybody starts to embrace it right now. So right now I think all departments are really helping on improving the digital capability, because everybody sees the results, and I think that's another benefit. The whole company starts moving in the same direction because we have the same view of the customer and we have the same end goal.
We talked earlier about fleeting events between you and your customers. It does. I as a customer don't need you every single day. That high volume and velocity repetitiveness that would exist in other e-commerce businesses, you just don't have. So just remarkable to see a business that's not just predicting where people fail on their journey of interaction with the business, but more importantly, trying to figure out what ancillary products, goods and services you can sell as add-ons, whilst you've got the engagement of that customer in a strong customer experience, that drive to automation, cheesy again. But, it just goes to show that, it doesn't matter how complex or how simple the interaction with the consumer is around whether one product, two products, or multiple products. If you can really partner with an organization like Telium and a product like Predict, it allows you to really start to look at not just how to sell more or give a better experience, but really to break down that whole iterative journey across everything, across the entire digital life cycle, to focus in on the points where those marginal gains can be made to save money and increase spend.
Yeah, that's exactly right, and especially in our business, as you said, it's not like we have a fun shopping business. It's a problem-oriented business, and we want to make the booking of the appointment as easy as possible, because customers just want to make an easy booking, and it's really the mechanics that have to do the heavy lifting, and that's where the customer has the emotional connection with. But everything we can do before a customer gets to the mechanic, to have a good experience, and the smartest opportunity to also do some upsell. If you do that in the right way, we can also help the mechanic, so he doesn't have to do all the heavy lifting by himself. The customer's already pre-informed, has already made a reservation, maybe for some replacement of windscreen replacement, or so some additional add-on sales. It's really about helping the mechanics in the end, and to build a good customer experience. And I think those two can go hand in hand.
Bjorn, it's such a change in the shape of that call center world. If you were to listen to the critics out there, they would say, get rid of call centers, they're very expensive. But I love that word you used, empathy. If you can predict a journey and figure out when empathy is required, so when that transition needs to come from the digital channel or the bot to an understanding individual, and be able to make sure that happens so people don't abandon, because a broken windscreen, if it's an emergency situation, can be quite, require some empathy, right? Especially if you're by the side of a motorway and you need some help. It's not just about getting rid of call center agents. It's about how do you use them more efficiently? How do you use each one of the channels that you have across that chain more efficiently? And more importantly, right channel, right problem for the person as they require it, and being able to understand and predict that. I'm surprised you're not the CEO, Bjorn, because it's such an amazing accomplishment for you and your team to be able to implement this into your organization. And one last question before we close this off. Carglass, Telium, where do you see our relationship going next?
I think it evolved as our digital capability evolved over the years, and especially, we have the philosophy of having a real small team, but work with lots of great partners and specialists. So in our vision, all our partners that we work with, especially with Telium, it has to feel like part of the team, and as long as that feeling is there, I think it's limitless. So we can only we already achieved so much, but we can only grow from here. So we can work together for many years to come. So really looking forward to that.
Bjorn, just a phenomenal story, and one that I'm sure inspires the listeners to this session today. Personally, on behalf of Telium, I'd like to thank you very much for your time this morning. What a great story. You heard it, ladies and gentlemen. It's about the customer first. It's about looking at the entire experience that individuals have across their digital interaction with you as a business partner. And I loved your last comment, Bjorn. It is a journey. It's not a purchase. It's not one time. You've treated your partnership with Telium in the same way that you treat your customers, looking at that journey and figuring out how working together really drives the best result for either you, the customer, or your customers.